fully generate the HTML with vanilla.js, DOM manipulation. Okay, cool. And yes, this will come, I think, a bit in handy for your assignment too. So we open up the HTML page, we can see it's empty. There's nothing there in the body, I mean. Do not write HTML here. So it means we have to do everything from our JavaScript file. Okay. If we have a look at this, what I like to do is like kind of identify all the elements that I'm going to need. So it looks like I'm going to need like a div, I'm going to need an A tag, like an image here, horizontal line, and then all these table tags for the rows and the columns. Okay, cool. Well, we can start off, we can just ignore the table for now, because that looks like the one that's going to be most involved. And we can start off with the other easier ones. So just ignore this. This is just an array of data we're going to use later. And I've just got the body element. Let's create the div now. So we're going to do const. You've got to give it, a name. So I'm just going to call it div document dot, and it says to use create element and append child, not in a HTML. Okay, let's do that. Create element, and then what you pass in is the name of the tag. So in this case, div. I want to make a div. Cool. And it also has some style here. Like we saw before, we can just do div dot style dot background equals, and the color we want. Just that. Easy. Okay. So now that we've created this, what do we think? Do we think that it's going to come up on my, if I load the page? Just in the chat, yes, no, before I go live. Maybe. Why maybe? It's going to show. Okay, cool, cool. Anyone else have any ideas? Don't you need to append it first? Yes. So if I go live, we went live on the wrong page. If I go live here, it's empty. There's no background color with this. And Daniel's exactly right. It's because we haven't appended it yet. So once we create an element, it's kind of just floating. We haven't actually put it in the DOM. So what we can do is we can do body dot append child div. Okay, well, there's nothing in the div. So it's not going to show yet. Okay, so let's just leave that for a second. Let me put something in the div first, and then we'll be able to see it. Okay, let's create the A tag real quick. So same format, create element, but this time an A tag. And you can see it has a target and a href. So same thing, you can just do link dot. And if you're using VS Code, it also comes up here for you, which is nice. Link dot target. So what the target does, blank, is just opens it in a new tab. That's just what that's doing. Okay, and while I'm here, let's just create the image tag too. Again, same thing, document.create element image. And instead of typing this out, I'm just going to do this. So same thing, image.source, that's the attribute, and you put the link that they gave you, and image.alt, also an attribute, you put that text there. Okay, so now let's see if we put the image inside the A tag. So following this format, how do we do that? Link dot append child. What append child does is basically just makes whatever thing you pass in here, a child of the first thing you said. So in this case, link.append child, I want to append the image. Cool. And then you see the A tag is inside the div. So div.append child link. Cool. Now, this div is still just floating right now. It's not in our DOM yet. So we've got to do body.append child div. Now, hopefully we'll be able to see it. There we go. There's our, there's our image. And you can see this is a link to Google. Okay, so did that make sense? So basically what we did first was just created the elements that are kind of just floating. And then later on, I assembled them together to actually, you know, give it the parent-child relationships and then inserting it into the DOM. Cool. Awesome. Another thing that I just want to point out as well, so this is especially for assignment 2, is when you're doing it, just make sure your JavaScript code is organized. So if you can see here, what I've done is all the create elements I've just put at the top. And I've just got some comments here saying what I'm doing. And then I assemble everything at the end. The reason why I do that is just so it's organized, right? And so you know exactly what you're appending to what down here. And you're never going to get an error like say if you put this here, no, here, for example, your image is not created yet, right? So you'll just get errors and things. So I like to create all the elements first and then assemble them later. Cool. So we still have time, so let's just continue on. This is the wrong thing. Okay. And it also wants a horizontal line, so we can create that as well. Create element, a simple HR tag. And where do we want to assemble that? Well, div appends the link, and then we want the div to append the horizontal line. And you can see that horizontal line there. Probably best to follow the same format as how the HTML defines the components. Open tag equals document create element, and end tag means time to append it to its children. Yeah, that's a really good tip. I like that. Cool. Okay, so now the a little bit more involved part. Okay, so we look at this. We know how to create a table tag. We could just use the create element thing. But then when we look at this, right, we could just go one by one and just call create element on a bunch of lines and do it like this. But that kind of seems inefficient if we know it follows this kind of pattern, right? It's got a row, and then inside the row is 3 columns, right? That just happens like 6 times or something. So what you could do is you could maybe create a function to help you. So a function that creates each row for you. And that would be really efficient because then you could just call that function however many times you want. Okay. So let's start that then. So let's start by creating just the outer table tag first. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to make this function called create row. Okay, just using the syntax to make a function. Okay. Now, if I'm making a function that's going to create this row for me, well, I want it to also fill out this information as well, right? So I'm going to pass in as its parameters the name, the age, the height, and one more variable. I don't know if you can see here the difference. This is a TH, this is a TD. So TH just means it's a header. So it's like a little bit more bold than all the rest of the columns. So what we could have here is we could maybe have a true or false variable. So if it's true, it means that we want the header, if we want it to be a header. If it's false, we just want it to be an ordinary column. So I'm going to call that header. And the values it's going to take is true or false. Okay. Cool. So what do I want this function to do? So we'll start off with create the row. Const row equals document dot. Right? Because in all cases, we want a row. Cool. We've got that element. Now let's create the columns. Now we can use, this is where the header true false value will come in. So what we can do is let col type. So we want the column type. And the reason why I've used let here is because I'm about to assign or like change the value of it. If I use const here and try to reassign the value, it won't work. So if I do, so if it's a header, so if it's true, I want the col type to be th. Right? This assignment here wouldn't work if this was const. Okay, so that's why we use let. Allows you to change the value. Okay, and if not, col type is just the ordinary TD. Okay, cool. Now we can create our columns. So we want 3, right? So I'm just going to do it like this. Document.create. Now, how do I know what the column type is, if it's a header or not? Well, we just assign this variable here, right? So we can just pass in the col type and it will do the correct one. And what do I want inside that column? I want the text that I passed in, right? The name. So what I can do is inner text equals name. And this is the same for the other columns. They're just called something different, column. And instead of name, I want age, right? And then in column 3, I want height, right? So now all of these are just floating. Remember, like before, they're just created. So let's put them together. Row. And inside the row is the 3 columns. A little nice thing you could do is if you just use append, you can append multiple things at a time. So it appends column 1 first, column 2, then column 3. Cool. Okay, so now the columns aren't really floating. The columns are in the row, but the rows are still floating. So we'll take our table, which we grabbed up here before, and append our row. Right. So what does create row do? Creates the row element, creates the column elements, then puts the column inside the row as children, and then puts the row inside the table. Right. Where type is can we use document.create element type where type is oh yeah, of course. Yes, that is also where you could do that. So instead of having it true or false and then assigning it here, you could just tell it straight away, like what the col type is here and pass that in. Yes. Very good insight. And that would, I think, also reduce all this code here. Cool. I'm just going to leave that for now, just because it's typed. Okay. So now we have this function. We haven't called it or anything, so it's not going to do anything. So let's call it now. So we look at this. We have the first one being a header. So I'm just going to then call the function create row with, okay, what's the name? In this case, we don't have a name because it's the heading, right? So age, right? And since I use the Boolean, I'll just pass in true, right? The header is true, which means it'll be a TH tag, which is what we want. Cool. So if we, let's have a look at our DOM. Okay, so the table's not there. Why is that? Because I haven't appended the table anywhere, like, right? The table's floating as well. So down here in my assemble, div.append child table. So if that ever happens, if you're ever like, why isn't it showing up? You probably just forgot to append it to something. Yay, okay, so there we go. That's in there. Oops. Now, just the very last part, one more thing. Up here, we is just an array of objects. And inside the objects, it's just got the name, age, and height. And the reason why I've done this is because, yes, I could just call create row like 6 times and type the correct name in there, similar to this, right? But we can do something a bit, I guess, a bit neater and feels less hard-coded, I guess. What you can do is you can do a map. I'm not sure if Aiden's gone through this in lectures, but basically what a map does is for each element in array, it will, you can specify or like call a function on each element of that array. So for each element, D, actually I'll call it item, right? So for each item in the array, I want to create a row for it, right? And we just made that function. Cool. And what do I pass in, right? I want to pass in the value of name, and the value of age, and the value of height. So like a hash map, we can do item. This is how you access the key, like this. Age. Whoops, height. And the last thing I want to pass in is false, right? Because it's not a header. I just want it to be ordinary. And so once I save that, you can see it automatically did all of them in just one line of code, instead of me typing 5 lines of code with everyone's names in it. I have that data structure up here, and then I can use that in a map. Does that map part make sense? I think this line here maybe is the hardest line to understand in this code. It's kind of like a for loop. It's kind of like for each item in this array, call this. I could also do that. I could have done a for loop for all the items in the array, call this function. A map, I guess, is just less lines as well. And so we have our finished product here. Is there any questions on that exercise?